Hello everyone and welcome back to Easy Natural English with Liam, where I speak to you in everyday English that's just a bit easier than movies and TV shows, but hopefully more interesting and more natural than textbooks or some other learning materials. So today I'm going to talk a bit about my new laptop, or in particular, my new MacBook. So if you are one of my students, then perhaps you have heard me saying for a long time that I want to buy a new computer. If you're not one of my students, then check out the link in the description of the YouTube video or in the description of the podcast, and then you can come and talk to me on italki. But for those of you who are my students, you've probably heard me talking about buying a new computer for a long time. And I'm somebody who doesn't really like spending money. I'm not particularly tight. I'm not very, very frugal. Frugal means like very, very careful with money. I spend a lot of money on coffee and things like recently I've been buying lots of Japanese comics, which I use for studying Japanese. And when it comes to things that I can use for study, I always think, I'll buy it. It's good for study. I need it or something. So I spend money quite freely on things like that. But with big things that cost a lot of money, I usually think for a long time before I buy them. So with buying a MacBook, as you might know, they are pretty expensive. They usually cost more than $1,000 if we're talking about American money. Here in Japan, where I live, that's more than 100,000 yen. So it's quite a lot of money to spend on something. But as I said before, I teach online, so I really want to make sure I have a good computer for when I'm teaching, because I don't want to have any problems with, for example, sometimes my old computer, it has even crashed during lessons, which is really not very good for the student or for me. So now I have a nice computer that won't have any problems when I'm teaching. And also, as you know, I make YouTube videos and podcast episodes, and the editing before took me a really long time because my computer was very old. It was about 5 or 6 years old. It was a very old Windows computer that wasn't bad when I first got it, but I've had it for a long time, and technology moves very quickly, things develop very quickly. So compared to the computers today, my computer, my laptop was a bit of a relic, we might say. A relic is kind of something you see in a museum, something that's very, very old. So I'm exaggerating a bit, but it really was old and it really wasn't working very well. Even recently, somebody on my YouTube comments said, "Hey Liam, you should put more videos and pictures in your YouTube videos to make them more interesting." And I know, but my old computer couldn't really handle things like that. Or sometimes I did that with some of the older YouTube videos, but it really took me a long time because everything I tried to add to the video would start a loading process. So I would move something and I'd have this timer waiting for it to load. And it was just a very long process. So I try to keep my videos more simple. But now I have a new MacBook. So hopefully I can, if I know how to do it, hopefully I can make my videos a bit more interesting. Perhaps I can make the podcast a sort of better quality. So we'll see. So thank you very much to my Patreon supporters who give me a little bit of money every month, because there's people like you that make me think, maybe I should invest some money in my equipment. So now I can make some better YouTube videos and better, perhaps later I can get a better camera or something. So I really appreciate your help. The MacBook, I have the new MacBook Air, which if you're interested in technology, you might know that it was quite a big event. It was quite big news because until now, Apple had been using Intel processors. So Intel are a different company and they were making the processor for the old laptops. But now Apple is going to be using their own processor, and it's a silicon processor. I don't know much about computers, but I did read that everybody said, wow, it's very good. It's going to be much faster, much more efficient than before. It will use less battery power. So it means the battery will last for a long time and it can do a lot of things without getting hot. For me, I'm very surprised because my old computer would get very hot and the fan inside would be very loud. The fan would be like, and I'd touch it and it would feel very hot. Sometimes it would kind of worry me how hot it was getting. I was just waiting for it to shut down, like boom. But yeah, thankfully most of the time it kind of worked. But this new MacBook Air, it doesn't even have a fan because it's very, very thin. It doesn't have a fan. And I've tried to do some things like watching videos. I practiced a bit of video editing on here. I've been teaching, which is online, like video calls. So I've been doing a lot of things that kind of push the computer a little bit. It needs to use a lot of its RAM, its random access memory, and it's been okay. And I touch it and it doesn't feel hot at all. It doesn't even feel like it's on. So as somebody who's been using a very old computer, I'm very surprised. It seems like magic to me. But yeah, perhaps I've just been using an old computer for too long, so I'm a bit too used to that. I wonder if any of you have got a new Apple. If you have, then yeah, please comment and let me know what you think of it, because I can't compare it to old Apple computers because this is my first one. I've never had one before. So I'm very excited and I need to get used to how to use it because I've been using a Windows computer for a long time, Microsoft Windows, and the way of using it, so the kind of shortcuts, the way of opening things and closing things and moving things, that's all a bit different with Windows than it is with the Apple's software. So I need to get used to that. Thankfully, my wife has one, so I've used it a little bit, so I'm a little bit better than I was before, but I still need to sort of get used to it. But so far, I'm really, really happy because, as I said, it works much more efficiently than my old computer. And as you all know, I like to study Japanese. I study Japanese every day for many hours. So it's very good for me to have a computer that's good for studying Japanese because that is, one of my main pursuits at the moment, one of my main hobbies, one of my main goals. So I spend a lot of time doing it, and I need a computer that's going to help me to do that more efficiently or more effectively. And this is much easier to use than my old computer. My old computer, when I tried to type in Japanese, so sometimes I would want to switch between English and Japanese, and it was a very annoying process. It took a few steps, and I would change to Japanese and it would still be in like Roman letters, and then I would have to change it to hiragana, which is like the Japanese script. But now with the new computer, I can do it with just 2 single buttons, like boom, boom, and I can change it very easily. And it has a dictionary that I can just click on words and the dictionary pops up, and it gives me a Japanese to Japanese dictionary because I like, when I'm studying Japanese, I don't want to use English. So when I look for words in Japanese, I want to read it in the Japanese dictionary. So I'm very happy that this one, I can have that dictionary on there and I can just easily get a definition of words very quickly, very easily. So I'm very happy with it. So if you were thinking about getting a Mac and you're thinking, wow, Windows is cheaper, should I get a Mac? If you have the money, I would recommend it. Personally, I'm very, very happy. So yeah, hopefully from now on, you'll be seeing some better quality videos. Maybe I can edit them a bit more. Maybe I can make them more interesting, add in some videos or some pictures or something. And also, now I have this Mac, I would like to do a live video, so then you can all give me your questions and comments and I can answer them live. So yeah, I don't think my old computer could have handled it, but I think this one will be okay for that, and hopefully the web camera is better quality too. So look out for that. Hopefully I'll do that soon, but I need to look up how to do it. I'm not sure how to do it now. So anyway, thank you all very much for listening today. As I mentioned, I teach on italki. If you'd like to take a lesson with me, check out the link in the description of the YouTube video or in the description of the podcast. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, there's a link in the same place. Everybody subscribe, like and comment on YouTube, review and follow the podcast. Everyone share with your friends, especially the ones that are learning English. And I will see you all back here next time.